Hey everyone, welcome to the Pace Studio in New York City. We're here with dual guitar threat, Julian Lage and Chris Eldridge. Welcome, y'all.
Thank you.
What's the first song you're going to play for us today?
It's called Bone Collector.
Whenever you're ready. That was so cool. So that song was on your new album, Mount Royal, that's out now, right?
That's correct.
Well, can you guys tell us a little bit about that record and kind of give us some background information? I mean, you both came from such different, I don't know, styles of guitar playing. How does this even happen?
Well, we both definitely love guitar, and we love. I mean, that's obviously a central meeting point. We're guitar nerds, and I feel like lately I went through a phase where I felt like it wasn't so cool to just unabashedly love the guitar, but I've moved through it. It's part of just getting older and embracing your weirdness, and so I love it, and so to me, what this project is, it's about a lot of things. It means a lot of things to me, but like one thing is just celebrating the acoustic guitar, flat top acoustic guitar, and trying to figure out what what things we haven't heard two acoustic guitars do but that we think are cool. I mean, kind of in its most basic form. That's kind of I think part of the mission of our little band here. Yeah.
I second that.
How did you meet in the first place?
We met at a Punch Brothers show, which is Chris's band, and I was there on business, you could say, and we just kind of ended up playing together, and it was pretty immediate as far as our interest in one another and just kind of our fascination with each other's style and approach to the instrument, and we kind of made it a point to establish some sort of opportunity for ourselves. So it wasn't just talk. And we put some dates on the books a couple years after we met and made a small record, did a small tour, and it's kind of been like that ever since.
Cool. Well, what's the next song you're going to play for us today?
The next song is a tune that Julian wrote called Broadcast. I need to retune for a second.
noticed as you guys are playing is that you tend to kind of alternate who is taking the lead and who is taking the rhythm, and yet it's very natural, and it alternates regularly, multiple times within the same song. When you guys are writing, how are these things determined? Is it very natural? Is it very improvisational? Or is this kind of a conscious effort to kind of switch attention between both of you?
Well, I would say it's both. It is very natural, but there's a lot of improvising in our music. Like in that song, for instance, the structure of it, there's the form, the melody of the song, which we play all the way through. Then I take a solo, which is all the way through the form. Then Julian takes a solo, which that's all very normal for the kind of template that we're coming out of.
Right.
We're improvising guitar players playing this stuff. But then the next time through the tune, we improvise together. And that's and that was like that's built into the song, but I'd like to think that we're always kind of improvising together. Even if Julian's taking a solo, it's not like I'm just standing back here strumming rhythm, and I'm trying to listen and respond and react and be an empathetic listener and supporter. And I think it's the same thing for when I'm stepping out a little bit more. So it's all really fun. But then we get these times where we really improvise together, and we're really trying to explore a little bit more. And that was I think one of the things when we first started to play, for me anyway, coming from more of a bluegrass background in terms of my like performing and kind of where I learned to play and all that. There's not as much of that thing. That music tends to be a lot more empirical, whereas there's a lot more of the kind of yes and thing. I think in Jules's background. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but from the jazz world, that's just kind of a lot more what the thing is. And so that was always a really fun thing for me to get to kind of engage and really play, to live entirely in the moment and create in the moment and just be sympathetic in the moment. That's
How much of a challenge is that for you? I mean, I've found it personally really difficult to go from a very structured musical, performance background into like do whatever you want.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you?
For me, it's actually been pretty natural for me. I think that's maybe one of the reasons that this works is because I don't know if just because I lack discipline or whatever, but like I love kind of going off the rails. I really revel in that. I just don't get to do it in my day job, so to speak.
Sure.
So not as much. Right. So yeah, I think that's a really natural thing to do. And sometimes it can get, just anything goes. I think with Julian, what's so amazing about Julian is he's the most empathetic partner, you could want. And so I feel like, for me, there's always this incredible safety net. Like I'm being so well supported at all times, and it makes what might be scary, kind of jumping off a cliff, a lot less scary.
That's cool.
Totally. Yeah. I might steal that term of being an empathetic listener while performing. Thanks for that.
Do it.
Cool.
What's the last song you're going to play for us today?
It's called Things in Life, and Chris is going to sing it for you. It's an old tune.
Yeah, this is a proper bluegrass tune. It was written by a guy, a banjo player from New England named Don Stover. He used to play. He wrote. I imagine he wrote a lot of other songs, and I bet they were really good too. But this is the one that everybody knows. It's somewhat of a standard, but I don't know. We thought we'd kind of try our hand at it as well.
One of the 3 covers on the record for anyone tuning in.
Yeah. So there's Things in Life. 1, 2, 3. Look up, look down that lonesome road. Hang down your head and cry, for we often lose some things in life that make us wonder why. Oh, the fairest love the clay, and I live in hopes and dreams of her that we'll meet again someday. I often said and wonder why life has to be this way. But after all is said and done, I'm sure God has his say. I'd like to be a small part of life with some few things to achieve. Just to know I've been a fruitless cause would give my poor heart grief. Now, as you lower my casket down, in some lonesome grave to rest, you can take one last look at my face. And say I did my best.
That was so cool. I'm dead. That's it. So Chris, you just spoke before that song about some of the differences and challenges in playing from a jazzier point of view in terms of improvisation and stuff. So Julian, I was wondering if you could kind of weigh in on what it's like to play some of these more traditional songs coming from a bluegrass background or playing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
I'm not really sure. I mean, for me, it's all kind of it's all part of this American guitar tradition, and there are elements of traditional music or bluegrass or old time music that remind me a lot of kind of the tenor banjo, early jazz guitar era, like Eddie Lang or Django, or there's a lot of overlap. So that's probably the biggest difference is just these songs are a lot shorter in form, and then a lot of music I grew up playing, and so that's a really good thing for me, because if I have a tendency to be long-winded in a jazz sense, with songs like this, you have 2 minutes to get in and make your statement and get out. So it's more of an architectural difference than like a stylistic one, I'd say.
Cool.
That's what I think.
Cool. Can you tell folks tuning in right now where they can see you live coming up?
Well, let's see. We're on tour right now for about another 5-6 days, mostly in the Northeast. Actually, entirely in the Northeast. But then we're going out. So I play in Punch Brothers bluegrass band. If you want, what does bluegrass even mean? As we're talking about, but like we look like a bluegrass band. Anyway, we're doing a tour with Julian and a great trio called I'm With Her, which is Aoife O'Donovan, I know he's been here, and Sarah Jaros and Sarah Watkins. Mm-hmm. And they're calling that tour American Acoustic. But we're going to be, I think we head out like July 27th or so, or 28th, right. And are playing through August 15th. Mostly on like mostly east of the Mississippi, but I know we're heading out west a little bit too. So that's going to be really fun. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. Well, all those dates are online. The new record is called Mount Royal. It's out now. Thank you guys so much for being here with us today.
Great
Come
job.
back anytime.
Thank you.